Hey everybody, this is Muffin with the Daily Biker Podcast. Just here to let y'all know the opinions and ideas expressed in this show are those of the hosts and their guests, not to be confused with their partners and sponsors. Now, let's get it on.
Hey guys, this is Sean from the Bikes and Beards YouTube channel, and you guys are listening to the Daily Biker Podcast. You're gonna love it.
I know how to forge paperwork. What are you talking about?
Jeez.
Yes. What a way to
I
start.
will send you your flag back, sir. We were talking about entrapment earlier.
Oh, Lord. Let's not go down that road again. No.
No, we're not going down that road.
It's not.
The road we are going down is... Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Daily Biker Podcast. My name is Marcus, and I'm a clueless leader. Today, we're going to go on a learning journey, and I have a full house in Studio B. We are in the White Lightning Harley-Davidson Mobile Studio in Studio B. B stands for what, Daniel?
The bunker.
That is correct.
Very accurate.
And I've got Miss Muffin with me.
Hey, y'all.
I've got Daniel.
Hey there.
And returning, we have Ryan. You heard him 2 episodes ago.
What's up, y'all?
And the comeback of T. I feel like Teresa has not been on here in a little bit.
I haven't.
Where have you been?
All over the place.
All over the place.
I've been everywhere, man.
I've been everywhere, man. Okay. And copyright. Struck down.
Yes.
Episode's been blocked.
No one
It's
will
been
ever
blocked.
hear this again.
So,
It's good. You can say whatever you want now.
you know, Ryan, you brought up a topic to me that you wanted to talk about.
I was very
And I was
passionate
like, ooh, that's a great topic because of what I'm also dealing with at work right now. So, and Teresa has strong feelings on this. And now Daniel's going, what is the topic?
Well, I will say, for those of you that are listening, Marcus, T, and Ryan both work at White Lightning Harley Davidson. All.
They both of them.
Well, those two are basically the same.
Both
T,
of
you're different.
both of them.
Both of them.
Both of them.
All
Yeah.
of them work at the dealership.
Yes,
Me and
but-
Heather are outside of the dealership,
Yes.
and we have to listen to these problems.
So for the first time listener, I am the marketing manager at the dealership. Teresa is the service manager at the dealership. And Ryan is lead tech,
Shop foreman.
shop foreman,
And I'm waiting for my
Still a
first
tech.
paycheck.
And still a wrenching technician. Yeah.
still a wrenching technician. And Daniel is currently a hang-around.
Hang around.
He is not a full patch member yet.
I have a shirt.
Apparently neither am
Doesn't
I.
make you a full patch member.
It says staff.
Kevin has
He
to get
does
you to
have
sign
staff
paperwork
shirt.
before you become a full patch member.
I've signed paperwork at the dealership.
You're known as
Different
associate, it's
paperwork,
alright.
different Kevin. So,
I don't want to take a pay cut.
No.
but Ryan, why don't you tell everybody kind of the basis of the subject of what we're talking about tonight?
Cool. Yeah, so let me preface this with saying I have taken my first import motorcycle to my first motorcycle dealership outside of my control, and that's kind of what sparked this whole conversation we're about to have, is the dealership experience. And being that I've worked in the dealership for so long now, obviously I know what happens behind, the curtain, so to speak, and what it takes to make things happen on the day-to-day, and then to go somewhere else and put that trust into somebody's hands could be more difficult for me, I guess, than the average person. But having said that, I also know what to look for in, the way of good service and bad service, and, things that you should do and things you shouldn't do, as far as my opinion goes, to give somebody a good experience. Because, motorcycles are fun. They're supposed to be fun when you're on them and they're working, but when they don't work and they break and you got a lot of money invested, of course, it's going to make you have a bad day. So as an employee of the dealership, part of my job is to make sure people get their bikes back and that they're happy again. And so having taken my KLR, which you heard me talk about last episode that I was on, it's having an issue with the fuel pump, and I had to take it to the dealership that I bought it from. And just first impression, not good. But I let it go and let it kind of pan out how it has at this point to where we are now. Basically, I got pushed back on the schedule from my my appointment date, which we'll get into that later, I guess. They told me that there's nothing wrong with my motorcycle, and the guy that is the service advisor has basically kind of treated me like I'm a burden to him, when it's his job to take care of my vehicle while it's in their hands. So just a lot of check marks in the bad side of things, and it's kind of a bummer, but that's also a friendly reminder of, you know, on my side of things, to make sure that I don't be that person to people who come into our dealership. And I think that's why where we are at our dealership is a place that I'm happy, is because everybody kind of works hard and strives to give people the best experience that they can have in any given day. And nobody's perfect, but where I'm at right now with my bike, I feel like they're kind of not trying, and that's a real bummer.
Yeah, I feel there's a lot of stuff that dealers can do. You know, there's lots of stuff that Heather can do too. So there's lots of stuff a dealer can do. You know, constant contact with a customer when their bike is in the service department is always a good thing. You know, I've dealt with situations before, we've talked about when I had my powder coat done, which he overpromised, underdelivered. You know, 2 weeks, 4 weeks later, it's like, hey, what's up? He's like, oh, it's going in the booth now. And then there's flaws in the powder. It's like, I would have rather him just went, dude, I'm so backed up. It could be 8 weeks or whatever, something like that, and been like, dude, that's fine. I want it done right. But he would never do that. So, you know, I've seen those things. When Heather's Jeep had a major issue, we took it there.
Yep.
And I think it was like 2 days later, they're like, hey, this is what's up with the vehicle.
That was after a week of me and you trying to figure it out.
It was.
Yeah.
But they were, I mean, dude, they were Johnny on the spot and figuring out what the problem was. But there was constant communication. So when they were like, this is what it's going to cost, and I'm like, can you give me a couple days? And they're like, yeah, no problem. If you want it fixed, we'll go ahead and start working on it. And this is how much it's going to cost. And it's like, okay, yeah, cool. I mean, they were super cool and upfront about it. I do want to say, for anybody that's ever had issues, before you get mad at the dealer, think about what you're mad about. Because there are situations that we try and take care of that sometimes is just like, come on, you're just griping. So, for instance, Teresa, we'll be having a special one month. And somebody will want that special. And maybe they call and there's 3 days left in the month. And it's like, it's going to be the next month before we can actually get to it because we're a week behind or 2 weeks behind. You know, a lot of times, if they talk to T or something, they can get stuff worked out. But at the same time, don't be the guy that calls and goes, oh, hey, I know you're having this special, but I'm not going to be able to bring it for another 3 months. It's like, that's not realistic. Come on now. We're going out of the way and helping you out.
Yeah.
Because we can't get it done in that window.
Yeah. There's a difference between I can pay right now and we don't have availability, and I just want this deal 6 months from now when
Correct.
I get whatever money I need.
Correct. Yeah. And I think that's, that's kind of something we recently started. You recently started pushing, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's gotten really good reactions with the customers. They really appreciate that because they feel like they're being taken care of.
Yeah, they're very appreciative when we can extend it or make an exception for them. They feel special.
Yeah.
Let's talk about constant contact. So, Marcus, you had your bike worked on.
Yeah.
You'd had quite extensive work done. It was going to be in the shop for a few days, right?
Yeah.
Had a lot of things done. And Ryan, you know this. He was in that shop nonstop. I don't think you got any work done. He was
Marcus
going back
was the
there.
constant contact.
He initiated his own constant contact, and I would get to the point where he's like, God, damn it, Marcus, get out of here and let us just work on the bike. Like you did get to the point.
I am
You
very
drove
difficult.
me
I am very
insane.
difficult.
But then I had to step back a little bit and think, well, he's really excited about this project that
Yeah.
he has going on. And Heather, you were really excited
I
about the
was,
project.
yeah.
And then when you guys, we saw the bike when it was done and everybody was super, I mean, we take for granted sometimes that we build bikes every day. And you are spending a lot of money on this and you're really excited about it.
I mean, I've got, I've mentioned on here before how my bike, when I got it, I called it Johnny Cash because it was the Man in Black, because it was a black Harley. Oh, how original. But now it's like, even if I repaint the motorcycle, it's still Johnny Cash because the bike's been built a piece at a time.
Okay.
But it's one of those
You're not
things
wrong.
where, there was a lot of, I was not going to go the direction that I did,
No. Yeah.
but it was presented to me. I got a deal and did it. And, it was one of those things where I'll put this out there. Even though I got a deal, we're talking about $5,000 plus worth of work.
Yeah, so your level of excitement and coming back every day and being like, hey, what's going on with my bike? Like, that's something the average customer can't do.
Yeah,
And
I'm fortunate in
They
Every day.
Every day.
Every
She
hour.
wants to enunciate
Every
that.
15 minutes he was
You
back
gotta
there.
That does not
imagine,
surprise me at
the
all.
guy at work,
His office is right,
It's right there.
next to you guys working.
Yeah.
True.
What else is he gonna do during the
I
day
was-
when he
I-
doesn't have to do social media?
His job? I don't know.
I considered
Stop it.
I considered flying
Can't
the
make it
drone out of my
work.
office and just flying the drone around the service department to see what was going on.
But you're right. Average Joe doesn't get to do
Yeah,
that.
they're sitting
Yeah.
at their
Yeah.
desk
Yeah.
thinking about, oh, my bike is going to be so cool when I get it back, or it's
Yeah.
going to run great, or whatever, or they're, outside in the heat, like, oh man, I can't wait to get my bike back. And that's where that constant contact is, that them checking in on their
Yeah.
bike. Like, hey, what's going on? Like, they don't care if you've taken one bolt out. If you call them, you're like, hey man, your bike's on the lift, I haven't touched it, but I didn't forget about you. They're like, okay, cool. All right, I can live with that, for a period of time. But it's the long stints of time where they don't hear anything, which is kind of, a little bit what happened to me. They get anxious and they want to come in the shop and see their bike. So they call and they say, hey, what's going on with my bike? And sometimes you get that phone call as a service advisor. Maybe you're having a bad day and you're just like, oh, this freaking guy again, he's calling, asking every 5 minutes about his bike. But it's exciting. It's that level of excitement, and that's what we bring to the table. So it's hard for me to stomach somebody getting upset at somebody else being excited to spend a lot of money with us.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I just
Well,
those things don't go together.
can't blame someone for being excited and wanting to know the status of their bike, especially when they're doing, for regular service work, okay, like, it'll get done when it gets done. It works on the schedule that you guys have already initiated.
Yeah.
But for somebody getting major engine work done or some big modifications, like, that's going to take time. And you can understand why somebody be like, I'm going to have a brand new bike when this is all done. This is all new.
I think a lot of times people think, when they think of constant contact, they think about those things. They're like, man, I wish I could get that constant contact. Because they don't think about where they already do. I mean, when was the last time you ordered something and you just ordered it and went about your day?
and
You know,
waited
you know-
patiently.
Yeah. But 99% of this world will go, hey, where's that at? Oh, do I have a tracking number? Oh, it's here.
Guilty.
And
Guilty.
you get those notifications. Hey, it's here. It's here. It's here. So you have that constant contact. People don't think about that because they've become so accustomed to it. But there are places that are starting to do that type of stuff. I know, Daniel, you're not in the construction industry, but you know a little bit about that stuff.
I do.
And I have seen now where people are getting like regular updates, like they're getting pictures,
Yeah.
so they don't have to come out to, because people are always driving out to their new construction or whatever. They'll literally get a picture from the contractor, like, hey, as soon as the framework's done, I'll shoot you a photo. And they're getting photos, every
There-
couple days of stuff that's
There
happening to
are
the house.
apps nowadays that you can track certain things that are being done, and like Marcus said, contractors will, hey, we did the electrical, we did all the framing,
Yeah.
here's the roof, things like that.
Yeah.
And that's, for a lot of people, that means a world difference. They understand that things are going on. They know that work is being done, whether it be in the time frame that they expected it to be done
Yeah.
or not. It's still getting done.
I feel like it comes to being abandoned or being forgotten. People don't want that.
Yeah, I mean,
And that constant contact prevents that from happening.
Yeah. It's also a sign of good service.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people, unfortunately, nowadays, in every industry, they get bad service for whatever reason. And, over however many years you've been alive and experienced bad service, eventually you're just like, you start assuming that it's going to happen certain places where it happens recurring, or there's definitely a stigma in the auto industry and motorcycle industry that, the dealership is going to say they did all this stuff and change one little thing, so there's some things that we have to overcome too, and being that we're professionals in the industry, we have to remind ourselves daily that, people don't know what's going on back here, so we need to tell them.
Well, I think some of that, too, comes with trust.
Yes.
That constant contact helps with the trust.
Yep.
So, for example, my bike we were leaving, what was that, a couple weeks ago, and I was like, dude, my bike is making a weird noise, like coming out of the left side. And I wasn't freaking out. I was just like, it's making a different noise now. I'm not sure what's going on. And you were like, oh, your floorboard is a little rattly or whatever. And I was like, oh, okay. And I mean, you could have been lying to me. Now, granted, we work together, so it
wouldn't help him
raises
if you
a level.
lied to him.
It raises a level of trust.
He'd find you later.
But we deal with that.
Yeah.
We deal with a lot of issues where it's, hey, this noise is normal, and it's like, how do you trust that person? Because it doesn't sound normal to the customer.
The experience.
We had that recently with
yesterday.
with
We have
well,
it every
I'm
day.
thinking
Yeah.
with
Oh,
the
I'm
Pan
sure, every
America.
day.
We had a customer's Pan America that was making a noise. He was like, "This is odd." Well, that customer has a trust level with Teresa. So has
Harley,
a
they make
trust
noise.
level with Sean, and Sean went and rode the bike and was like, "It's not doing anything different than mine does."
Yeah, he has the same bike too, so that kind of
Yeah.
also builds
Yeah.
that bond.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that helps. Now, I guess the question is, what are you kind of doing, Teresa, to overcome these adversities?
It's constant education of the customer and the service writers, and trying to keep the service advisors pliable, because they're the ones that are having to deal with the frustrated customer. And most of the time when a customer comes to the service counter, they're not happy because their bike's broken and it's going to cost a lot of money. Even they might be excited about the build that they're doing, but it's still going to cost them a lot of money. So we deal with we deal with a lot of unhappy people, and when you're dealing with a person who walks in the door unhappy, you just start that relationship off in a certain type of vibe.
Yeah.
And so it's taxing and stressful to work on that counter. So it's really just educating the customer. And I want to talk about another part of this that goes into what you just asked me, and that's listening to your customer and truly listening to the customer. And Ryan, you're going through this in your service experience right now. They did not listen to you to know what's actually going on with the bike. So now we're going to use more time to go back and re-diagnose it. And when you spend the time with someone and you really truly listen, and we know what real listening is, fake listening is, right?
Yeah.
And you truly...
Don't talk about me like that.
When you truly listen to someone, they will feel that from you. And when you take the time and the energy and you give that to them, it's just like kind of a sigh of relief. Like, okay, my bike's in good hands. She just heard everything that's going on. She told me she's going to take care of everything, and that just alleviates so much right off the bat. I don't ever want someone to walk out of the service department and be like, and I don't know about this.
They figure it out.
Which is
That's
how
I
you
felt.
left. It's how you left. And then come to find out, oh no, they really didn't listen to you. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Daniel, you're going through a situation where I think they did listen to you because they went above and beyond what you even expected.
The shop that I go to get my bikes work on, I have a very good relationship with the mechanic. I mean, we have each other's cell phone numbers. If I have a question about something, even not related to a bike I have at the shop, I can shoot it to him. He would answer it for me. And anytime that he puts his hands on any of my bikes, I get pictures, I get details, I get I'll get a workup on every little thing that he did on my motorcycle. Doesn't matter how small or major it is. That's what I get. But I mean, this is a personal relationship at this point, and it's out past
But
what
even
the dealer does.
even beyond that, what I mean is when you went into him, it's like I was in an accident. This is how the accident happened,
Yeah.
and because you sit there and explain to him of how the accident happened, and he listened to you,
Correct.
he knows what to look for and found things that you didn't realize.
That is absolutely true.
So-
he went through the bike to a level that I was not able to,
Right.
and found things that I didn't see. But that was through his and constant communication.
Yeah.
Through the entire process, he's like, "Look, I have your bike. I'm going through it. I'm looking at this. I'm going to here. We start with the belts. We looked at the frame. We looked at other things.
Yeah.
Now I found this problem.
Well,
Go forward."
you know,
And they're the ones in contact with insurance at this point too.
Right.
So he is the one directly contacting insurance.
well, talking about that dealer experience, that's one of the things that I'm dealing with right now with my department. So the receptionist at the dealership is, I guess saying under my control sounds weird. That's my department.
Division of marketing.
The
Yeah.
receptionist is
Well, that is part of marketing.
Yeah,
you
the-
have the person that welcomes you when you come to the
Right.
dealership. That is marketing.
but
So you should do it right.
one of the things that
Yeah.
as
Or
I'm
I'll
going
do
through
it.
as I'm
I
going
got
through
free time.
interviews
I'll do it.
with these people that I'm very specifically explaining to them is that priority number one, answer that phone and greet that customer when they come through the door. And everybody that I say that to, they're like, "Oh yeah, yeah." And I'm like, "No, I don't think you understand. I've seen it a thousand times. You get other stuff going, and that kind of goes to the side. And it's like you can't let that go to the side. You got to have that initial contact. You don't want that customer to have that horrible initial contact. I feel sometimes, because I've seen this happen at multiple places, not just dealerships, but other types of businesses and stuff like that. You'll go to that first person and they might be really nice. And then you need to speak to someone else and they're all of a sudden you get a, "Yeah, what's up?" It's like, you don't know if you've talked to me before when they tell you that the phone's for you. So why not give that initial, "Hey, this is so-and-so, what can I help you with?" Also, I think the biggest thing that kills me in the world, period, is that's not my job.
Oh,
Oh,
worse.
Lord.
Worse.
So,
If it needs to be done and you're there, just do
Just
it.
do it.
yeah, there's been, since I moved recently, there was situations where I'd be on the phone with different utility agencies and stuff like that, and they'd go, "Oh, I'm going to have to get you to so-and-so. That's not my job." Now,
Really hate that for you.
I get that there's different departments and I'm not going down that route. But I'm talking about, like, literally,
The
the
tone.
girl that I paid my bill to tells me that she can't change my service. But if I hang up and I call back and hit change of service on the menu,
You'll talk to her.
I'll talk to her and she'll change my service.
Interesting.
So it's like, you can do all of the stuff that I need done. Because it goes to one call board. It just gives you a prompt on kind of what I'm needing to do so you can go into a different screen. So it kills me. I see it. I see it when I go out to eat. Like I'll see a restaurant that doesn't have any customers in there, and there's stuff all over the tables, and servers aren't bussing tables. You got one busboy working his butt off to try and clean the tables. You don't see servers taking stuff off the tables.
Just standing at the bar texting.
Yeah. It's like, dude, you want to make money? Go clean off tables in your section so you can get seated.
Yeah.
Bingo.
So, you guys, when you have a customer that comes in that may either have a bike that's already being serviced or worked on or having modifications done, or somebody that comes in that may be a little bit aggravated coming in. I mean, because obviously no one ever wants to bring their motorcycle in. I think that's something that we've all discussed. Like, this is a passion for all of us.
Yeah.
And having your passion be down for even a day is very disappointing, let alone multiple weeks. So what do you guys do when someone comes in that pre-aggravated state?
I put myself in their shoes, and I've been in their shoes. I had my motorcycle in the shop for 6 weeks. I've had multiple service interactions with my car at local dealerships. So I put myself in their shoes, I listen to them, and I tell them what's going to happen. Here's what we're going to do. Here's when we're going to do it. And here's what you can expect from that. This is when you're going to hear from me. Even if I don't know anything, you're going to hear from me then. Whenever I get involved in a situation, if I have to get involved in a situation to alleviate some sort of heartburn, I see it through to the end. I don't usually pass it back to the service writer. They're at my level now. I'm going to see through the whole thing. And it's doing what you say you're going to do. Right? If you say you're going to do something, do it. And there are so many times that I've told someone, you're going to get a phone call from me by the end of the day. And I've called them and said, hey, I don't have any news for you. We still don't know what's going on. But I told you I was going to call you. So here's your call. This is what's going to happen tomorrow. It's telling you what's going to happen.
And even something like that is very important to a customer that
Oh,
knows that their bike is still being considered. Like, even if it hasn't been touched, hasn't been worked on yet, you're still in that line. It's that constant communication, like you guys were talking about. That is very important. And that personal connection that you're making with that person.
Yeah.
When you call them, tell them, like, look, I wish I could tell you something. I really can't right now.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I'm calling you because I said I would. That's hugely important.
That goes a long way.
Yes.
And I do want to say this for anybody that's listening to this that works in a dealership, because I know we have some people that do. Just understand there's a difference in separate your friendship from the customer. If you have a friend that is a customer, separate that. Daniel bought a bike. I stayed out of the way on that completely. Teresa asked me at one point in time, hey, have you talked to Daniel about this bike? And I said, nope, because I'm not getting involved with this. Y'all, the sales team is handling this. I will let y'all handle this.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
that's not that's not my job thing. We're too close. I'm avoiding the situation.
I fixed everything except for the carburetors, and I have to get it.
And there's something to be said about too many cooks in the kitchen too. It could be miscommunication with your interaction and his interaction with the sales department, which could
I
make
had
things
that
go.
today.
So
At work.
that's definitely a smart thing.
Someone came to my desk and was like, so-and-so out here and there, oh man.
I don't know what you're talking about.
And I was like, let me handle this. And I walked outside and no one was even mad. I was like, okay.
Yeah. To any service advisors out there, just remember that the person is not mad at you. They're mad at the fact that their motorcycle or car or whatever is broken.
Yeah.
And you're, unfortunately, the outlet, but you knew the job was dangerous when you took it. So suck it up, put a smile on, and
Suck it up,
just
Buttercup.
really set the stage. And I mean that in the best way,
Well, it's a passion. They're passion, especially with you guys dealing with motorcycles.
Yeah.
Motorcycles are a luxury item here in the United States. They are a passion for most people. So if their bike is down for a period of time, they're going to be upset, regardless of how long it takes. It could take a day. They're still going to be mad that it was down for a day.
Well, we have customers too that ride their motorcycles daily, you know, especially when the weather's nice. But we have people who ride all the time. There's a kind of a joke thing that we repeat in the dealership. That's only motor transportation, but it really is for some people, especially all over the world for a lot of people. But in the U.S., you know, people ride these recreational vehicles every day, and that's what they rely on. So being down for a day means spending money on a lift or calling a friend or whatever, and they just want to get back on their bike because that's maybe their 10 minutes of peace going to and from work, or their 30 minutes of peace, or what have you. And also, you know, they might be making payments on it. It's hard to make payments on something that you don't actually have in your hands or in your garage. You're like, man, what am I spending this money on? And then I got to spend more money to get it fixed, or, you know, what have you. So you knew the job was dangerous when you took it. Put that smile on and change somebody's day for the better, because they're not mad at you.
Well, I try and do that. I've came to you before and been like, hey, so-and-so, just, they saw me on the floor, whether it was a hog member or something like that. They're just asking. They haven't heard anything, so I just thought I'd holler at you and see what you know. And we get the information together. Sometimes T goes to them. Sometimes I go back to them. I'm like, here's what's going on and stuff like that. And they just wanted to know.
Yeah.
It's communication. I mean,
Yeah.
we've talked about communication and how important it is here several times already. Ryan and I are like the communication preachers. We're evangelists in our department, because
it takes a lot.
It's so important. So the other thing that I'll do when I get involved with a customer and I say, here's what we're going to do, here's what's going to happen, here's what I'm going to do, I will then go to the technician and to the service writer and say, this is where this customer's at, this is what I've told him, this is what I've promised, so that he knows. So that at 5:45, I'm not going back there being, asking questions. He's like, well, I haven't even touched this yet, because he doesn't know. So everybody needs to know where everybody's at. Whenever we have a customer that has, I refer to them as their hair on fire. I mean, they're level 10. Well, everybody needs to know.
Remember, passion. You're talking about motorcycles. All of us in here are here because we are passionate about the vehicles that we ride. And if any of us had one of our bikes that was down for a period of time, you have your
currently my
like
bike
a new bike that you've not really had much experience with, you're still upset that it's not running. That you're still going to be fired up about it.
Yeah, another thing is it's hard to be mad at somebody that's happy. It's hard to continually be rude to somebody who's smiling at you and trying their hardest to take in all the information, and they're not snapping back at you or taking it personal. That person will calm down the longer you're nice to them, because nobody wants to kick a puppy unless you're a psychopath.
Well,
right? No.
I want to say this. I feel that
I hope not.
That T, you do a really good job of dealing with those customers sometimes when they have severe issues and they don't quite understand.
We're always friends at the end.
Because
always.
I've seen you take a customer and go, let me kind of show you what's going on, and have walked back to the lift and been like, look, this is our current state. This is what we're dealing with. These are the things we're dealing with at the moment. This is what sometimes it's in diagnostics issues, and it's like we're still trying to figure out. This is what we've done. You can see, and I've seen those things. So you do a very good job of taking that customer and going, hey, let's talk. So I feel like that's something someone or people need to kind of get a better grip of in everyday life.
Yeah.
Woo! Say that again.
Good luck with that.
Say that again.
People can handle the truth too. I think where people start to get frustrated is when you fib to them, or like you said earlier, overpromise and underdeliver. It should be the flip side of that, But be straightforward with people. Don't sugarcoat it to the point that it becomes a lie. But there's a nice way to say your bike's real messed up and this is not going to be cheap.
Yeah.
Or be like, oh, no, it's all, it's okay, and then just totally drop the ball. So.
And then they have a $5,000 repair bill that they've got.
Yeah, and you're just adding insult to injury at that point.
Yeah, that they didn't know. Well, I mean, Lewis, a.k.a. No Show Jones for the people that listen to this podcast on a regular basis, his bike was in the shop. There was that constant communication there. And you came to me one day and was like, hey, he's a buddy of yours. Do you mind hollering at him? And I did. And, there was things that you were noting that were more of preventative stuff. They didn't have to get done, but it was like, you're going to save labor if this is taken care of at the moment. And he was like, absolutely, because it was explained to him why this is better.
Yeah.
And it's so embarrassing to do work in a particular area of a motorcycle, and then 3 months later they come back with, a shift shaft seal leak or
Something
something.
totally
Where you have to pull
overlooked.
everything back
Yeah.
apart.
Well, I mean, how many
And
times
he-
have you had a
and then
cam
they
chest
say-
open and next thing you know there's a rattle in the cam chest?
And they said, well, why didn't you tell me this then?
Yeah, $600
so
ago,
embarrassing.
or whatever. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
So embarrassing.
Well, that's, me and Ryan talked about that because I've done the service counter thing before. And it was like, I used to basically not even give the people an option. I would make them get mad at me and tell me no when people were coming in for tires and spoked wheels. And I was like, you're getting a new tube. You're getting a rim strip.
Oh yeah,
That's
there's
not-
no question.
There's not an option.
Yeah.
But there are places that don't do that.
That's not
Well,
negotiable
and
in
people
our
are
shop.
also idiots.
So,
I mean, you're not wrong.
Yeah, and I mean,
I can say that. I don't work at the dealership. You're
I
an
think
idiot.
less
if you
than
don't do
that,
I'm
some,
not talking about us.
some people can't
I'm
afford
talking about there are other dealers in town
Yeah.
that don't do that.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
optional. But I have had customers before that went, dude, I'm scraping every penny I can right now to put a new tire on that thing because it needs to be safe for me to ride because it's my daily rider. And I tell you what, dude, my price on a new tube and rim strip for that is less than $20. I'll pay for it myself because you got
Yeah.
to have that.
Well, and that comes down to a safety issue, which is a lot of the times the work that you guys do. It's I want to make sure that the person riding this motorcycle is safe, which
Yeah.
is why you have that communication. Like, hey, when I was doing this other work that you wanted me to do, I noticed this, this, and this.
Mhm.
These are things that I don't know that, like, I would get serviced. Right now, they need to get done. You can choose whether or not to do them,
Yeah.
but we notice them. And even that, whether or not you do them or not, is very important to a customer.
And I'm not talking about you going to a 10-minute oil change place that tells you, hey, your coolant needs to get topped off. It's going to be $45. No, just go over to AutoZone when you're done. Buy your $20 coolant. They'll even top it off for you.
Yeah.
it's especially in,
And I'm not referencing motorcycles. They use a different coolant.
I would say
Don't use
Harley is
Harcola.
a premium brand. Like it's not the so much anymore. It's not really the everyman's brand just because of the price point. And people who buy these things, whether they can afford them or not, appreciate that you're looking at the whole thing. You're not just changing their front tire for however much that costs them, and then not even looking to see does their headlight work, does their brake light work, did you even take it on a test ride and notice that the whole
Yeah.
front end is making all kinds of racket or
It's like,
whatever.
hey, your head bearings
know.
might need to get replaced.
I
Like,
know-
this
I
is a
have-
20-year-old motorcycle. You
I
need
have
take
talked
care
to
of that.
guys that have been like, back when I worked at the Honda shop, guys have something done or whatever.
Gold wings don't need
And,
work.
and this used to blow my mind
Jesus.
because like I said, that's where I was at the parts counter. That's where I pushed, hey, let's go ahead and take care of this, take care of this. And guys would do stuff like have a tire changed. And then I'd see them 2 days later and they'd be like, man, that whole front of that bike is shaking. And I'd be like, really? And I'd ask my tech, hey, did you notice anything? Oh, I didn't even test ride the motorcycle.
Ooh.
It's like, we put a tire on it, dude. Why did you not test ride it? Be like, it was just a tire. It didn't need test ride. And you end up taking it
Whoa.
back and you end up finding out
Oh, Lord.
the neck bearings are bad
Yeah.
or
Front
something's up with the
balance,
front fork seals or it's like, check these things.
I think the only things that we don't test ride bikes for is like programming a key fob. We ride
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
y'all
Well,
ride
I mean,
everything.
I mean,
I might
if-
still go ride it anyhow just to make sure your bike is safe.
If
Yeah.
there's anything that's a functionality that's going to affect the riding of the motorcycle, I know we'd ride the motorcycle. So suspension changes, wheel changes, tires.
Which is pretty much almost
handlebars.
everything.
Mhm.
And there's a lot that a professional will notice. That
I think if you
your
put a new
average
battery
person
in it,
won't.
you probably don't
Yeah.
ride it.
No,
You probably
absolutely.
should.
Well, and that was the thing. Like when
Make
I
sure it's
dropped off
charging.
at the Valkyrie at the shop that I have it being worked on at, the mechanic rode it prior to doing any work to it.
Yeah.
After
Yeah.
the accident. I mean, it is completely straight up after the accident, haven't done anything to it. He said, I'm going to ride it to see what I notice.
Yeah.
And gave me his list of things that he thought could possibly be in question. And that was prior to tearing into it, looking at anything. You know, something like that is very important, especially after doing work.
Yeah.
But even beforehand, like, hey, I noticed this other stuff.
Yeah.
Let's, circle back around to it at a certain point. I know you brought it in for this. Mine's a special case, obviously, an accident motorcycle. But
And there are things too where work has been neglected. We've just experienced this with Lewis.
Yep.
Work was neglected by him that you fixed, and now he's like, it's different. And we're like, it's correct.
People get used to
Well, you
Yeah.
realize it was
that
old
notch that
and
they
he
have
was,
to overcome.
And that's what he was talking
Or,
about. He said it
you know.
felt different in the front end.
Yeah.
Oh, it feels new again.
His
I
bike
don't like
had
this.
had an indexing point where dead center straight where the neck bearings were notched, and you would have to overcome that notch to turn right or left. Well, you can certainly get used to that if you ride your bike a lot, which he does. I could tell by the mileage and the model year. And when it's not that anymore, you're like, wow, I don't know about this, man. This feels different.
It's all loose.
It moves like it's supposed to. But, then you get used to that, and when it happens again,
Wait,
you
you
go,
mean
oh,
those
man.
wiggles at 120 aren't normal?
Yeah,
Not normal?
Depends on the bike.
No, it's debatable.
Yeah. A wiggle on a KZP at 70 is normal.
Okay.
120 on the KZ.
Yeah. I guess what it boils down to is communication. You hear people talk about that with their relationships, their personal relationships. Oh, communication is key. Communication is key, period.
In all social life,
We should have made communication the drinking game word for this podcast.
we should.
Well,
Yes.
we wouldn't have been able to finish this. All of us would be stumbling out of here.
Communication.
Communication.
Here's where
Yeah,
we're at.
Communicated.
Communications.
Maybe we just tell people.
That's what we
So-
do.
At the beginning of
Disclaimer.
this.
All right.
Yeah.
When
We-
you're
We,
listening to this
need to add this
podcast,
to the front of the podcast.
Yeah, there you go.
Be like,
Yeah.
every
Read it
time
for
that you
everyone
hear the
else.
word communication.
Every time you hear the
take
word
a drink.
communication, take a drink.
yeah.
They're not. You're gonna look at the record and it'll be like everybody made it to like 27 minutes and then just quit.
Quit. So you know what sucks though is Ryan, you're going through it right now. I've been through it a few times. Since
You
I've been
actually
in
did go through it recently because I remember when your car was in the shop.
my car twice, 3 times with my car, and once with my dirt bike. It sucks
Just learn to how to work on
Because-
your own stuff.
because
I wouldn't want to work on that Fusion.
Ryan and I are good at our jobs.
It's got a
We
Fusion
take care of
reactor.
people. We
Yeah.
actually care about the people that we're working with, and we do all of the things that we're talking about today. So when you go and you have that experience, you really want to have a good experience.
Yeah.
And when you go and you don't get it, it's like, man, like why do I do this so well and I deserve this?
Yeah.
Like I deserve to get some good treatment. I felt like I was a burden on the dealer when I went in there. So it was just like I
Yeah.
felt out of place. I didn't feel comfortable. I was like, what in the world? Like
Yeah.
I'm spending my money with you, and
You
it
know,
was awful.
I know it sounds really weird, but I've been focusing for about the past month on telling people thank you,
Yeah,
like at work. So, like the picnic tables, I turned around and all of a sudden, because we told Ben, don't worry about putting them away right now. We'll put them together, put them away tomorrow. And I turned around and all of a sudden the picnic tables are away. He moved the bikes, got the picnic tables, I put them up, and I went up and I said, "Hey Ben, thanks," and stuck my hand out and shook his hand. I wasn't going to be helping him with the picnic tables, but he went ahead and did it.
That's
So
awesome.
that acknowledgement of saying, "Hey, thank you for doing that," those
It
types
goes a
of
long
things.
way.
So, and it was just like this morning, I had some sales guys show up early with me, help me get stuff set up. I made sure I shook both of their hands and told them thank you. So
There's a whole lot that goes into
sometimes
that.
that's a little bit of recognition is all somebody needs
Yeah.
or wants.
Yeah,
So
for sure. For
Yeah.
sure. Being a burden somewhere you're spending money is not a cool feeling.
No.
Not at all. Nobody wants to feel that. Why people think that's acceptable to do at their place of work, whoever you may be, stop it.
Just stop it.
I've got listeners that send us messages about that.
Or you feel like you don't. I felt like I got to the point where I didn't want to ask questions about what was going on with the bike, or I didn't want to explore anymore because I just felt so pushed off.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't ever want to feel stifled or feel like I can't use my voice and ask questions and explore.
Yeah.
And I felt like that.
And, you know, I think here's the thing to remember with asking those questions. There's nothing wrong with asking a question. If there was something up with a bike and Ryan was like, I'm stumped. Do you think Ryan's not going to go ask another tech, hey, let me get a second opinion? Because I've seen you do that. Hey, take a look at this. To me, it's right, but something's still not working correctly. And I've seen you do that, getting a second opinion from Fred and Tanner and them and stuff like that. The problem is if you're too afraid to do that, might be the end of the road for you.
Yeah.
Because I've seen that too.
Yeah.
So, don't be, I guess with that, it's don't be too big. Think you're too big to ask a question.
Yeah.
Because everybody fails. Everybody makes a mistake. It's always good to have somebody there watching your back, helping you out, answering those questions.
Yeah,
those
to
types of
say I don't
things.
know. We have a salesperson, a nameless salesperson, who does not know how to say, I don't know, but I can find out. I know 20 people who can come find out.
Yeah.
They could come to service.
Well, it was today. You know,
Oh man.
you were sitting there. Bill was asking me about the bars for his bike. And I was like, I think so. But immediately in my head, I was like, I know someone that might have a better answer than me. Hey, Bruce.
Yeah.
Help me out here.
Yeah, there's so many times where a customer will regurgitate information that this person has given them, and it's like,
Who told you that?
what?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the salesperson. Huh.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting. And that's from someone not knowing how to say, I don't know, but I'll find out.
Another thing with the customer experience too with that is some people might not do it because they think it's embarrassing, like, oh, they're going to look stupid or unintelligent or unknowledged in their department or whatever. But I think from personal experience, when they go and take the time to ask, like, I don't really know, but let me go ask somebody who I think will know. Then you get to meet that person. Then you build a bond with them because they start helping, and then now you know their name.
Yeah.
And you know if you come back, you can go to that person or this other person and get the same level of help.
Well, you know, for me, doing the bike nights, doing the hog and stuff like that, I have a lot of customers that, you know, they don't want to go be a burden to service or parts when they have a question that they
I
feel
never
is
come to you.
stupid.
You're their
Not
comfortable
so much
point
you.
of contact.
And they come to me and they're like, hey, what do you know about this? Will this work? Can I do this? Hey, my bike is doing this. And if I don't know, I'm like, there's been times I'm like, let's go talk to Teresa. Hey, let's go talk to one of the parts guys. Let's see what we can get figured out for you. You know, sometimes that is literally, I straight up don't know, and that's who they need to talk to. And that TO, with me doing the TO, it creates that comfortability to have that conversation.
I think when someone admits to me that they don't know,
Tia doesn't go up.
I'm just looking at it. When
Just
someone admits
playing.
to me that they don't know the answer to a question,
Yeah.
I immediately have more trust for them.
It's a sign of being humble.
Yes.
Yeah.
And being just real. Okay,
Yeah.
now we'll figure this out together.
You're
I'll tell you
human,
another
don't
sign
know.
of being humble. Not sitting here telling everybody, oh, yeah, my bike's got 140 horsepower all the time. I don't care how much power your bike has. Does it run good?
Maybe.
Because hashtag
I only
humble
get
brag,
97,
I've got
but
100
it can
horsepower.
do 140.
But Ryan, you rode my bike. You know, at 100 horsepower, it's a fun bike.
Yeah, we were talking about this
Doesn't
earlier
have
before
to
we
have a
got
bunch
on
of
here.
power.
There's a point where it's almost not fun to ride at a certain level of power without other things involved, or to be riding something that's overpowered for the street.
But do you know how many people have never had that conversation? So now you have people rushing out, getting more
Trying to
power
buy.
than what they have to have.
Yeah, well, a lot of times those people are unhappy because, like, man, this thing runs awful. I have to stay on the gas. My gas mileage is terrible. does these weird things that I'm not used to, and I don't like this motorcycling experience.
Well, sometimes people don't go.
But it goes fast.
Yeah. So and that's sometimes people don't say that. So to pick on John a little bit, okay.
Norwood, my guy.
Yeah. So we all love John. John had all that work done to his bike.
Yeah.
And he'll tell you every day, man, that bike was fast. But he'll also immediately turn around and go, and I got 60 miles to a tank on it.
Couldn't pass a gas station.
So
That was every conversation.
like, I don't think John will ever go, I shouldn't have done that. He wanted to do that.
Because it was fun.
He wanted to.
Yeah.
It just
And then he was like,
wasn't fuel
you know what? I'm going to give me a new one. So, but there's so many people that they go out and they're like, oh, I'm going to do this.
Mm-hmm.
And they won't take advice.
Yeah. Or they take the wrong advice from
Right.
people who don't have their interest in mind. Or,
Or the Google.
yeah, or that. Or professional advising a novice rider.
I spent 3 years of researching and talking to people before I chose what cam, intake, and exhaust I put on my motorcycle.
But in the grand scheme of things, buy a motorcycle that's made to do the power that you want it to do. Don't try to buy something and make it fast or be sporty.
But that's a very debatable topic in the Harley world.
You know what?
In any engine world.
But it's not like when you're
what
buying like a CBR. That's
yeah,
not.
but that's what I'm saying. Like, if you want to be sporty, buy a bike to be sporty with. If you want to cruise, buy a bike to cruise with. Like, make sure they're two different things.
Yeah, I can.
Like,
I can
because
agree with that.
You're going to compromise.
Right, I
on
can
one
agree
or
with
the
that.
other.
What I would say is don't buy a Road Glide going, this is a touring bike, and then put a 140 cubic inch motor in it and go, I can't tour on it no more.
Yeah.
You're absolutely
Exactly.
right. You can't because you turned it away from being a touring
It's a
bike.
race bike now,
Yeah.
basically.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, you're going to compromise. You go one way or the other.
Yeah.
Just pick one to do a certain task and expect it to do what you
Yeah.
set forward to.
I would love to do some more stuff to my bike and make it more powerful. But I've also said at the same time, if I did that, I would buy me like a CVO Ultra, put a more comfortable handlebar setup for me, and just ride it. Not even touch it.
I think
That's
there's
right.
a lot of things that people don't even consider changing that I saw you get really excited about, Marcus, when you changed your suspension.
Yeah.
I mean, you've done, people do motor work all of the time, but you,
Yeah.
I mean, you were like a giddy little girl when you did that. You were like, oh, I love this. Every bike needs to have suspension on it.
He
We
really
need-
was,
He
wasn't
really
he?
was. He said, we need to quit selling stage ones. We need to focus only on suspension because it makes such a big difference.
Yeah.
And
And bring-
You know who else got
Yeah.
giddy about your suspension? Tater.
Yeah, Tater did get. He asked. This guy has asked me a million questions when it comes to suspension after seeing my bike. He was like, dude, we're out riding and y'all are just soaking up the bumps going along. And I was like, dude, it makes a difference. And I've tried to answer his questions, and I've told him times before, I'm like, I don't know, because he's asked me, he's like, well, Legends piggybacks versus Olin's piggybacks. And I was like, which ones do you like? I don't know which ones are better. Pick which one you like. Only thing I can do is tell you how much they cost. So, and you know, that being said, how many people, and we'll kind of wind it down here, how many people have we done big motor builds for that they will not buy upgraded brake rotors? As much as you're like, hey,
yeah.
let's,
If you're
you
going to
know,
go fast, you need to stop fast.
Yep.
yeah.
That's Gia.
I don't even have a go fast bike, and I've got good rotors.
Well, especially if you're going to ride around, regularly in city traffic or rural roads where an
Yeah.
animal might run out in front of you. Like, you want to stop
But-
when you need to stop.
But that goes back to that, hey, let me give you a piece of advice. Let's take a look at these things. I think I've said it before on here. I'm not sure if I have. I know I have in advice from my drunk uncle. So Jeff Holt, V-Twin Visionary, he does a performance bike show. And I've seen people put their bikes in the shows with these big motor builds and these crazy paint jobs and lose. And they're like, how did I just lose to a Black Street Glide? Because you lost to a Black Street Glide that has upgraded Brembo
He looks at the little
calipers.
things.
It has piggyback Legend suspension. It's got Legend drop-ins in the front.
Engines.
They've done, because it's that stuff. It's not just what have you done to your motor. It's have you made the bike lighter? Have you made the bike handle better? Have you made the bike stop better?
What kind of tires are you
Right,
using?
because a sports car, it's not just a big motor in a tiny car.
No.
It's got a lot of other stuff that all function together to make it a premium vehicle that functions the way you want it to. So, I guess on that, when it comes down to it, if you do want to do stuff, ask. Come up. If you come up to White Lightning and you go, I want to make my XYZ Harley faster.
You can't.
Okay?
Hey everybody, this is Sean at White Lightning Harley Davidson. I want to thank you for listening to the Daily Biker Podcast. You can reach the podcast on Facebook or Instagram at The Daily Biker, or you can email the podcast at thedailybiker@gmail.com. Be sure to keep an eye on White Lightning Harley Davidson social media pages for the most up-to-date information on all our events and where you can find the boys.